What rules were put in place because of you? I put a croissant in one of those hotel toasters. It soon became engulfed in flames and needed extinguishing. Next day at breakfast they made a sign that said, "If you'd like your croissant toasted, please ask a member of staff." My elementary school was located in the center of the neighborhood, and my 5th grade class was the first to get outdoor trailers for classrooms. We'd ask for bathroom passes and then walk home. Next year they built a fence around the school. At a ballpark I worked concessions at. They had an all-you-can-eat promo day where tickets were more expensive than usual. But concessions around the stadium were free, excluding alcohol. So I worked that day and of course it was chaos. But when the line started dying down later in the game they started sending some of the hourly employees home, myself included. But of course, I didn't go home. After I clocked out, I stayed in the stadium and got some cheeseburgers and Philly steak and soda and found an empty seat in the crowd for the last few innings. Next year, same promo, but new rule for staff. If you get sent home early, you have to actually leave the stadium. My younger brother was always late to school, small school, and was tardy. He figured out if he just skipped first period and went to second he was counted as being on school. And no late penalty because he was at second period on time. They changed this the following year. My junior high made a rule against yo-yos in class after I tried to do a trick and my yo-yo flew across the room and broke a glass beaker set. I'm sorry, guys. Back in the day a radio station had a weekly trivia contest. The prize was a free pizza and movie rental. Somehow my mom figured out which book they were using for the trivia questions. She bought it and memorized all the answers. Each week we would call in immediately. Sometimes we were the first, but even if we weren't it didn't matter because other people were usually just guessing. We won almost every time. Even though we changed up who would actually make the call, they eventually figured out we were all from the same household. So they made it a rule you couldn't win if your family had already won in the last month or whatever. Up till then, we enjoyed a lot of free pizzas. What is the best cartoon ever? Several people have suggested Looney Tunes or Bugs Bunny, but I want to get down to specifics. The greatest animated short is What's Opera? Doc? Asterisk the cartoon in which Elmer and Bugs do it as Wagnerian opera. Don't mind me. I am just sitting back and waiting for the generational wars to happen. Batman Tush has to be a contender. Classic Looney Tunes definitely deserves a place in the Hall of Fame. Really enjoyed Gravity Falls. Can't seem to find another cartoon like it. The Simpsons, the first 10 seasons. How do you deal with people assuming that you're gay, when you aren't gay? To make sure you're on the same page, ask them if they're asking you out. One thing I have personally done is to continue dating women and not date men. One approach is to tell them you are not gay. As someone who is gay and always gets assumed to be straight, I find the best approach is to tell them I'm not straight. Inverse applies. Have sex with their dads. That'll show them. You know, you're really flamboyant. Are you gay? Quote. Me. No. I'm not gay. Them. You seem gay to me. I bet you actually are. Me. Okay. No point in debating with idiots. What never fails to piss you off? Getting stuck behind people playing the lottery at a corner store. Meetings that could and should have been an email. No situational awareness. Job. Home. Shopping. Driving. Think for 1 minute and go about. # observe. People being mean to service workers, especially if the workers are very young. Endless barking in the middle of the night. I love animals but that shit I can't stand. My upstairs neighbors. You're given a choice. Meet yourself 10 years ago or meet yourself 10 years from now. Which one are you choosing and why? 10 years ago to change some crucial decisions and spend more time with my dad. Meet my 2012 self. Give him advice that will help him over the next decade. Conclude by telling him that when he gets to this same decision point in 10 years, to pick meeting his 2032 self instead. That way we get the maximum benefit from this opportunity. Myself 10 years from now would already know what I said and that I met them correct? 10 years from now definitely. Unless imparting knowledge on myself from 10 years ago would allow me to avoid some mistakes. Easy choice. I'm almost 75 years old. 10 years from now would mean I've made it to 85. 10 years from now. What's something random you miss about pre-COVID times? How affordable everything was. Functioning global supply chains. The product you want has got microchips in it? 9-month wait. I miss spontaneity. Everything now seems to have a barrier of difficulty. Hanging out with friends, and I mean WAAAAAAY before COVID, like 2006, back when I had some friends. Being able to grocery shop after 11 p.m. Buffets. There was not one but two incredible buffets near my house. Indian and Chinese. That I went to at least once a week. After COVID hit, they tried doing sit-down stuff and delivery. But it wasn't the same. They both closed up and one has reopened as another restaurant. But its food is awful. Subscribe, my brothers.